Hi there, gang. So I'm Ren, and yeah, back again with another episode of What If. So in this episode, I'm going to cover the fact of what if the Star Wars: Young Republic development team added in Wookiees as a playable class. So yeah, I'm having fun doing this, and so yeah, basically, my last video we covered Trandoshans, and Wookiees. Wookiees are the basically the ideal hunting prey for the Trandoshans, So yeah, basically, Wookiees, should they add them? I think they should, because the fact of the matter is, they're like, well, let's just be honest, they're like a 6 foot tall, shaggy giant, you know. And in my last video, I did cover the fact of if they made the Trandoshans, should they be Imperial? Well, in this video, I'm gonna literally come out and say it. If they made Wookiees, that I think they should be Republic only. And so, if they went down this route, what sort of playstyle do you think we could really expect from a Wookiee? So, from watching, Star Wars and growing up with Star Wars, and being a part of the whole Star Wars thing all the way since I've been growing up, um, you know, I've come to sort of understand that Wookiees are very sort of mechanically minded. They like to fix things. They're good at fixing things. And yeah, so I think if they made Wookiees a playable race, I realistically think a Wookiee. So they would have to bring out a new sort of crafting table, so to say. It could be, I don't know, like a Wookiee only one where you could take on enhanced engineering. With this, we could build our companions, and so where with all the current storylines and stuff that we've got currently, with all of the playable classes and that, they've all got their own storyline. Well, realistically, we could have the same sort of thing with Wookiees, but obviously they have to have this crafting skill. And they could go off on this little adventure, collecting parts and stuff to build companions. Now, I think that'd be cool because one, it hadn't been done before, and two, it would just be amazing to actually, you'd have to craft them and stuff, because we did that thing, didn't we, with that Bessie robot dog thing, where we had to go and do these things and that, and put the build the bits for it, so that we had to add in the targeting computer and all of this, and then we had to train it to use it and stuff. They could go down the same route with that, but with obviously a 6 foot tall shaggy giant. It'd be why not? It'd be absolutely belter, wouldn't it? It'd be it'd just be awesome. They could do stuff like that. Realistically, is this easily done? Well, I'm not being funny, but we've got Balder. I think that's how you say it. We've got that Wookiee companion. He can do all of the sub-specs. So he can be a tank, he can be a healer, he can be DPS. Now, I'm not being funny. On the cartel market, we have Wookiee bowcasters. We've also got Wookiee bowcasters from on reputation vendors. For reputation currency and stuff like that. So primarily, why not have a Wookiee caster actually use it? So realistically, it kind of feels like they were going to go down this route. I'm not saying that they were, but it feels like they were going to go down this route, but for some reason they didn't. But realistically, would this bring people to the game, like new players? Would it bring returning players back to the game if they went down an expansion? Where in my last episode, they put the two against each other or something, and built from that, something that's not sort of Sith related to a degree, where we're running around like lunatics chasing holocrons and that, an actual, a base story. And, I think I think like that in live action gameplay it would just be absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, so like yeah, I've got the old data bank up again, so let's have a look. So yeah, like Wookiees, so like obviously, they come from Kashyyyk. And yeah, they're just like, they're a peaceful, placid, race. They don't want to get involved too much. You know, Kashyyyk is in the same star system as Trandoja. So that'd be a starting point for a base of a story. Obviously there's some pictures of Kashyyyk here. Big old trees and stuff like that. I think a new zone, some new playable characters, some new playable races, some new different storylines, different to what we normally have. I think in the time that SWTOR's been out, Star Wars: The Old Republic, this would be the breath of life that it needs. And would this draw people in? I think it would. People that haven't played, just hearing about a game, and if they advertise the crap out of it, and they advertised it and they said, look, do you know what? You can play as a Wookiee, and you can go around like smashing things up and stuff. It'd be brilliant. Also because like Wookiees are very sort of, brute strength and stuff like that. How should the dynamic of the actual character play as well? So, like, obviously, you could have it as like a range spec out of the three, like, out of like the two specs. Or like you've got one spec, but you've got the three combat sort of specializations. So, like, one of them, realistically, you could have, it as a range character with like your Wookiee bowcaster, or they could go down this dynamic. Like, I don't think there is realistically any playable classes like what I'm about to explain. So, like, you could have it like with the Wookiee bowcaster. You could have it as arranged. You could have it as or even like in that ranged like thingy. Like if it was like down like an engineering route, say, and they went down that route, they could use like tech healing. So they could make like I don't know, like healing grenades or something stupid like that. It'd be who cares? It would just be cool, wouldn't it? But then you could have it as like a tanking spec. So one of the first classes. I'm pretty sure there isn't any other class out there that can be a tank or a healer. But then Wookiees with their brute strength. They could I don't know. They could design some sort of like vibro knuckles or something. They could use like vibro axes for tanking. That'd be cool. That would be cool. And then I don't know, like it's crazy, isn't it? Like to think, you could have it that way, or they wouldn't necessarily, or you could just have it as like a ranged healer, and then a tank, and like the tank uses like fist weapons or something. The range uses like Wookiee bowcasters, and then I don't know, you could probably have like a healer spec or something. But then it's the fact of as well, isn't it? So like obviously I know like the Disney Plus show The Acolyte was like a major flop and people didn't like it and stuff like that. But we had a Jedi Wookiee. So maybe this could be the thing to bridge it all, couldn't it? So you could have it as a like wielding a bloody lightsaber, or you could have it using a blaster. It could be like three different classes but in one character. And I don't think any game's been like that. Star Wars: The Old Republic's never been like that. Would that be something? Would that be something that people would play? I mean, let me know in the comments because I think that would be pretty cool. You know. But then, like there's loads of things with Wookiees. Like, look at that big boy there. Look, he just looks grumpy as hell, don't he? But it'd be wicked. And then you've got the good old fashioned Chewie and stuff like that. But then what we'll do is so we'll have a look at like models and stuff just by pictures on Google. But like the thing is as well though, there's like loads of different. There you go. There's a SWTOR Wookiee right there. You see what I mean? Look, we could like have all of the fact of you know, you could have armor on them and stuff. You know, and like that could be, you know, that looks pretty cool, don't it? Like the old goggles on and that, you know, they could have the goggles building robot, like building droids and stuff, like droid companions. And then, like, obviously, like here, you know, you've got lightsaber Wookiees and stuff. So it's all in the lore. It's not like they could, yeah, it's not like people are going to kick off and say this is not Star Wars, because all of these things have been sort of done. You know, like you've got that Black Carishian or whatever his name is. He had like big old vibro knuckles and stuff, didn't he? Look, there he is. Look at that. Look, you know, you have big old shoulder pads and stuff. Like the armor builds and stuff that they could actually make for these would absolutely be absolutely unreal. You know, but look at him, look at that big old blaster and that. It would just be awesome, wouldn't it? Like, but again, it would be the fact of, yeah, I think these should be Republic only, and obviously, you know, their counterparts of, you know, the ones that hunt them and stuff, like the old Trandosians. They should just be on the other side, like I mentioned in the last video. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please drop me a subscribe, and yeah, join the Clan Run community. But do I think this would, in all honesty, do I actually think this would take Star Wars: The Old Republic to a whole new level? 100% it would. I know some of the things that I've said in like my last few videos are a little bit like, you're a bit crazy, like what, you know. But from my point of view, like I've said, you know, we've had these discussions on Discord and stuff like that, and it gets quite funny on there. But yeah, if you haven't joined the channel, please hit a subscribe. Come and join us at the Clan Run community. You know, we love it. We love all this stuff. You know, but yeah, I think it would definitely take Star Wars: The Old Republic to a whole new generation of gameplay. And would it be worth it? Yeah, it would. You know, I'd pay to play something like that for sure. Do you know what I mean? And would it breathe life back into the game? Hell yeah, it would. You know, so if any of you developers are watching us, take this stuff on board. It's priceless. But yeah, you know, I think me doing this little mini series is absolutely like awesome. Like, just to go through the fact of actually ask these questions and see what people think out there. You know, just speak about stuff like a little bit different to the game, but about the game. Because, you know, this is why we're all here. We're here because we live and breathe SWTOR. You know, but this is just something different from like doing the guides and stuff like that. You know, I'm going off a little bit off the beaten path here, but yeah, why not Wookiees? You know, so what if they added the Wookiees? Let me know what you think. Would you play them? Would you go for it? Is there anything that if it was the case of, if you were going to be adding Wookiees in, what do you think? How would they play and stuff like that? You know, what sort of, like, you know, utilities, what sort of like combat specialization and everything else? Yeah, drop it in the comments. Let me know, because this is pretty entertaining, the stuff. I mean, it's a bit wild. I mean, I don't think I've seen any videos out on YouTube like this. So yeah, let me know what you think, because I think this might be a YouTube first. I don't know, but let's just see how it goes. And yeah, I mean, thanks for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. And yeah, I will make another episode and we'll upload it, and I will see what other crazy things that I can probably come out with. In you know, what if they did this? You know, what if they did that? I mean, the questions are more than what we could all probably answer. But this is what makes us a community, because it's good. It's good, and it's good to like wonder about this stuff. But yeah, like I said, if you haven't joined the channel, please subscribe, and yeah, become one of us, like Mandalorian Wrens. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.